On September 14, 2015, Mr. Abrahamson was in a court presided over by Judge Judy. He was there because he had assaulted the defendant, Mr. Pritchard, who was the brother-in-law of Molly, a 19-year-old girl who was either the girlfriend or fiancée of Mr. Pritchard. Pritchard had an order of protection against Mr. Abrahamson because Abrahamson had beaten him up. Abrahamson admitted to assaulting Pritchard but said it was because Mr. Pritchard had taken Molly down a bad path, and that he was a stoner who smoked a lot of weed and did a lot of drugs. When asked why he had beaten Pritchard, Abrahamson explained that he had a camera set up in his computer room due to money being stolen from him previously. He came home one day and found that the camera was turned over and that money had been taken from his slot machine. Molly was also present in the court and Judge Judy asked her questions. She was crying and said she was not sick. She lived with Josh and was a student at the Minnesota Virtual High School in Minneapolis, but she went to school online and did not leave the house. Josh was unemployed at the moment and they were living with an older lady who was like a grandma to them. They had been living there for about 6 months. Molly said she did not get any money for going to school online. Judge Judy starts by asking Molly how she supports herself. Molly replies that she receives food stamps and EBT from the county. The judge then asks Josh how he supports himself, to which Molly answers that he is receiving Social Security for his back disability. The judge then asks about Josh's back, and he explains that he was born with a congenital fusion and it causes a lot of pain. He also mentions that he is on a 10-pound weight restriction ordered by a neurosurgeon. Judy comments that there are many jobs that he could do without having to lift 10 pounds, to which Josh responds that there is not much opportunity in the county where they live. Judy then turns to Molly and asks if she thinks she is doing well with Josh, to which Molly responds positively. The judge then asks if Molly sees her sister and she explains that she doesn't see her because of Matthew. The case then shifts to the slot machine that was broken into and the money that was taken. Mr. Abrahamson testifies that he believes the plaintiff stole his money. Judy asks Abrahamson to explain how he came to this conclusion, and he describes how his son witnessed a car pull in at 8 in the morning. The judge then turns to Mr. Aiden Nolan, who is 13 years old, and asks him about the day the slot machine was broken into. Aiden explains that he went to school that day and realized he forgot his picture form. He went to the office to get the form and his mom was called to come and get him. The judge then wraps up the case, asking Aiden Nolan about the form he needed and what it was for. He told the judge that he had climbed through the kitchen window of his house because he didn't know the key was in the side of the garage. He locked the door after he went out and saw a Chevy Impala go by him, which was a car he had seen before when visiting his grandmother every 2 months. However, he didn't see who was in the car and it was silver, grayish in color. He continued to go to school and assumed that the people in the car had broken into the house, although they had been given the key and permission to be there, but not to grab the money. Abrahamson, the other person in the courtroom, testified about the assault and how he had prepared food for the people in the car and left them the key. When he and his wife Tasha got home, they found that the food and cash were gone. They called the people in the car and went over to their house to get the money back. They found Molly sleeping and asked her about the money, to which she responded that it was all her idea, and she took the money. They asked about Josh and got the money back from Molly. Pritchard explained that he and Molly M.S. Nolan had taken $40 from Mr. Abrahamson's mother, but they had offered it back to him. However, he never asked for it back. Pritchard stated that there was a miscommunication between Molly and her mother, who had told them that there was going to be $40 for them to help them get through because she was going to be gone for a while to be with her dad in recovery. The judge asked why Mr. Abrahamson had an order of protection against him, and Mr. Pritchard explained that there had been an assault, and as a result, he had pleaded guilty and was issued the order of protection. The violation of the order of protection was the reason for the current case. The judge also asked about Pritchard's job at the casino and if Abrahamson used to go to the casino regularly. He confirmed that he knew Mr. Abrahamson for a long time and that he was aware that Abraham used to go to the casino for entertainment. The judge also mentioned that Pritchard was not a regular worker bee and asked if he was aware of Mr. Abraham's casino-going habits. Pritchard confirmed that he was aware of it, as he had worked at the casino before. He explained to the judge that he had worked at a casino and had witnessed the defendant, who was a regular at the casino, going there either alone or with his wife. He also informed the judge that he started working at the casino in March of 2016 and left at the end of May of that year. The judge asked Mr. Pritchard about his previous job and he mentioned that he had worked for Dairy Queen. The judge asked about the circumstances under which he left that job, to which Mr. Pritchard replied that there was a change in management and they were not getting along. The judge asked about the duration of his employment at Dairy Queen, and he replied that he had started on October 30th and left on January 5th. The judge asked him to provide proof of the harassment he was alleging against the defendant. Joshua explained that he had worked at a gas station for 4 months in 2015, and then he was employed at 2 different places, Dairy Queen and the casino, for a total of 8 weeks each in 2016. He was in recovery for a period of time after being assaulted and had been going through a disability. He took the job at the casino because he had figured that with the restraining order in place, the casino would have taken steps to prevent them from being together, and he believed that he would only be working there for 8 hours a day. Joshua was working the grave shift, which was from 11:45 p.m. until 7:45 a.m. The police report wasn't enough to support his case, as the video he was trying to use was not available without a subpoena, and the subpoena didn't come through in time. However, he had a police report that detailed what was in the video. The judge read the report, but it didn't help Joshua in his case. Case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you.